In the year 1251, Lithuania was the last European nation to accept Christianity. 250 years before Lourdes and Fatima, the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared in the village of Siluva, Lithuania. The story of Our Lady of Siluva actually began in the year 1457, when Peter Gidgaris, who was a diplomat for Vytautas the Great, built the first church in Siluva in the year 1457 in honor of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin. Gidgaris endowed the church with many rich gifts. It soon became for the people a place of fervent devotion to Our Lady. On each September 8th, people from all over Lithuania flocked to the church to commemorate the feast of the Nativity of Our Lady. On one of his many travels, Gidgaris went to Rome, and there he obtained a magnificent painting of the Blessed Virgin Mary holding the child Jesus. He brought the painting back to Lithuania and put it in the sanctuary of the new church in Siluva. For several generations, the faithful worshipped God and honored the Blessed Mother in their little shrine church. When the Protestant Reformation swept over Europe, not even this little village escaped its impact. The little town of Siluva saw their Catholic lands seized, and the Lutheran faith dominated in the year 1531. By the next years, this gave way to Calvinism, and the Roman Catholicism died out over the following decades. In the year 1532, the local governor became a zealous Calvinist, as did many nobility and intellectuals. They in turn forced their will upon the people. The Catholics of Siluva were helpless to resist the repression of their faith by the powerful gentry. Property owned by the church was to be seized, and the land turned over to the Calvinists. When Father Holubka, the parish priest of the Siluva church, heard what was about to happen, he built an iron-clad box. He carefully wrapped the treasured painting of the Blessed Virgin Mary and the Child, and liturgical vestments and documents which proved that Vytautas the Great had given the land to the Catholic Church. He took all of the important ones and placed them in the box. Then he sealed the box and buried it deep in the ground near a large rock. 80 years passed, and the Catholicism gradually died out. Only a few of the very oldest villagers dimly remembered that there had been a Catholic church in the village. One summer day in the year 1608, a number of children were tending their sheep in a field on the outskirts of the village of Siluva. They were playing near a large rock, shouting and playing in a carefree fun. Suddenly, one after another stood transfixed, staring in the direction of the rock. In the silence, they heard the sound of loud sobbing. Then the children saw a beautiful young woman standing on the rock, holding a baby in her arms and weeping bitterly. She did not speak, but looked at them sadly as she stood there, weeping as though her heart was breaking. So profuse were her tears that they ran down her cheeks, and some of them splashed on the rock. The woman was dressed in flowing blue and white robes, unlike any costume with which the children were familiar. Her long, light brown hair fell softly over her shoulders. A strange light surrounded both the woman and the child, and then Our Lady, without speaking anything, disappeared. One boy ran to the Calvinist pastor and told him what they had seen. This news got spread rapidly, and the next day, a large number of people went to the place where the woman appeared. Some were making fun, but others were believing the children that they were telling the truth. This was proven because whether the children were questioned separately or together, each told the same identical story, even to the smallest detail. The Calvinist pastor was also present together with the people. The pastor tried to explain that it was the work of the devil and he was attempting to draw them away from the Calvinist faith, and so on. As he was speaking, the woman again appeared on the rock, as she did the day before, very sorrowful with tears in her eyes, holding a child in her arms. She appeared just as the children had related the day before. The assembled people became very frightened, and not one dared to say a word. The pastor himself was frightened, but got enough courage to ask, "Why are you crying?" And the woman in a sorrowful tone answered, "Formerly in this place my son was honored and adored, but now all that the people do is seed and cultivate the land." Then, by saying these words, the woman disappeared in the sight of everyone. Although the apparition was seen by many people, the Calvinist leaders still tried to explain that it was nothing but the work and trickery of the devil. A blind man more than 100 years old lived in a nearby village. The stories of the apparitions reached him, and as he heard it, he recalled the incident some 80 years before when he helped Father Holubka in burying an ironclad chest filled with the church treasures beside a large rock. The villagers then led him to the field of the apparitions to see if he could help locate the place where the treasures were buried. The very second that he reached the spot, his sight was miraculously restored. The old man falling into his knees with joy and gratitude, he pointed to the exact spot where the chest had been buried. The ironclad chest was then dug out of the ground, and when it was opened, there, perfectly preserved, was a large painting of the Madonna and Child, several gold chalices, vestments, church deeds, and other documents. Because of the apparition and the miracle, the people began to pay attention to Our Lady's message and began to return to the one true church found by her divine Son, Jesus Christ. A decade later, on the feast of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary, more than 11,000 people received Holy Communion during a Mass offered at the scene of the apparitions. The painting was enshrined permanently in the Basilica of the Birth of the Blessed Virgin Mary and is venerated to this very day as the miraculous image of Siluva. Over the years, many miracles have been recorded. Our Lady of Siluva is a painting, an apparition, and a church. But more than anything else, Our Lady is the Queen and Mother of Lithuania's unfailing Catholic faith during centuries of persecution, trial, and hardship. This apparition had been proven an actual event, authenticated by a papal decree issued by Pope Pius VI on August 17 in the year 1775. So this was a beautiful history of Our Lady of Siluva. Thank you so much for watching.